Today I've got with me Jason Hutt. Jason, thanks for coming into the Technology Centre. It's been a long time.
Well, you mentioned this earlier, and you said it was nearly 18 months ago, which is unbelievable. So
I can't believe it's been 18 months, to be honest.
where's the time gone?
I know, a lot's changed.
Yeah.
Why have you come into the Technology Centre today?
Well, it's obviously lovely to come and see you, Matt. You know
Obvious-
that, of course, that's one of the
obviously,
main
come on.
reasons. But I can obviously been working on a couple of your new exciting tools that you have there.
You're talking about the new machines.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Very exciting stuff.
I know, great. Working with Herco now, so it's great to have them in the Technology Centre.
Yep, and it's great that I've actually been having a look at them and installing the coolant saver on them.
Don't
Sorry.
spoil it just yet, Jace.
No, okay.
So before we kick off, who are Wogaard?
The name originates from Denmark, hence the Wogaard. And a lot of Danish have guard in the second part.
I
The
did
second
not know
part of
that.
the name, yes.
Ah, cool.
I know that obviously because I'm a Super Brentford supporter. We have a lot of guards in the team.
Oh,
Have a Danish player, a Danish manager. But we're here to talk about engineering, so
Yeah.
we won't start talking about football. Otherwise, we could be here for hours. Wogaard is based in the UK and in Denmark. We start off originally focusing on optimisation of coolant saving for the manufacturing industry. Small team of us, small team in Denmark, originally developed, my partners in the business developed the product, and then we brought it to market. And we could see, okay, this was a few years ago, 10 years ago when coolant was obviously a resource and a cost, but now, as you can imagine, coolant and costs and recycling is very much high up on the...
So I'm guessing there's a few products that you'd like to mention.
Yes. Our main product is the coolant saver.
Yes.
And that's been a key part of our initial product offering. This was based for emulsion on machining centres and lathes and mills and multi-machining centres, saving coolant and reclaiming it, the swarf that's dragged over while machining into the swarf bin from the conveyor.
So I'm guessing there's a massive cost saving associated to this.
It's incredible you say that, because when we first did the studies, when first bringing out the product, we looked at it and a lot of people just look around and go, oh, we've got a little bit in here, oh, we've got a lot. But then we started calculating a little bit, maybe, could be 2-3 centimetres. Sometimes we see a lot more in other applications. But you look at how much that is over a few hours, a shift, a week, a month, and then we're starting to get into thousands of litres. Okay, that's insoluble mixture with neat oil and a bit like the orange squash, 8%, 10%, whatever mix they're using. But then you start seeing some real cost savings when you look at per machine, how much coolant you're actually using, how much coolant you could be reclaiming back. But it isn't just the coolant saving, it's the disposal saving as well. Now we see disposal as a really big issue because that has to be treated. And that has to have lorries coming into companies, taking it away, recycling it, processing it, and that's a lot not great for the environment and carbon footprint.
So that's a sustainability piece there, isn't it?
Absolutely, and our first way we used to really push the product was through cost saving. That's key. We know that cost saving and disposal, but as you say, sustainability, keeping housekeeping good around the machine and in the inside area plus the outside area, and environment. These are three key parts. I think any projects that you work on, I imagine even the products and the projects you work on, that's got to be.
And there's more and more companies now looking at being eco-friendly, reducing their carbon footprint. This falls straight into that bracket.
Absolutely, and it makes it better for the working around the machine for people as well. We've got to look at cost saving. Great.
Is it hard to fit to the machine?
Well, as you've seen me today, I have been installing a couple of the units, and I call it like a simple piece of plumbing. Because all we're really doing is linking our Venturi unit into the main line, or branching off from the main line, I should say, with the T-position from one of the pumps running while the machine's running. Because this is what powers the unit. We don't use any external power. We use the power, or the wasted power, on these pumps that are running all day.
So is it the flow of the coolant which is dragging it back
absolutely. So typically we'd go the around spindle or the bed wash, one that's running 80%. Doesn't have to be high pressure. Low pressure, you wouldn't even notice the pressure we took away from it. And all we're doing is we're putting the T-piece in a straight in the line, and we've got a valve operation, and that takes a small flow through our unit and then a pipe that goes back into the sump. So it's like a circulating action.
So it's minimal intrusive to the machine.
Absolutely.
No power needed.
Absolutely.
Saving me money.
It's really is that simple. It is that simple. I know it's easy for you, but we've got many customers that say, customers yourselves as well, using the system. that love it for that reason. Again, there's no wear parts on it. The other key is there's no cross-contamination. You're not taking swarf bins over to another place, draining or briquetting, and we're getting that coolant back in. Okay, the swarf could be briquetted, whatever afterwards, but we're not taking coolant from that area. So you've got the same concentration, the same state coolant that's in that swarf bin, going back into that machine. So that's something we can't.
So you're saving on coolant, you're keeping the level of the coolant topped up as it should be.
Absolutely.
Meaning that it's recirculating properly.
Yep.
It's cooling your cutting tool properly because you're at the right level within your
Your
machine.
concentrate as well is the same as what you put in. It's not this topping up level
The
side of
knock-on
it.
effects are massive.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we don't talk about so much as that. Yeah. But it is an interesting. A couple of customers have said who've got really high concentrate, especially if they're roll tapping or something, on a high exotic materials, where the concentration rate has got to be quite high, and they're not topping up consistently, and then you can start seeing issues.
So is it just coolant, or do you cater to other things like oil as well?
We do have another system. We have a dedicated system for knee tool. For sliding head machines. So we have our soluble system, which is majority, as I say, for the white stuff emulsion. It will do some very light viscosities oils, but our oil saver is dedicated for use in sliding head machines, where pump configuration and flow rates are slightly different, and we're using high viscosity oil.
So do you have to have increased pipe dimensions for oil? Is it
Well,
still
yeah,
the
I
same?
mean, the oil system's typical in sliding head would be on a 1-inch hosing, so we'd have 1-inch T-fittings that come with the oil saver kit.
So we've got two products there,
Yes.
and you're saying one of them, which is your flagship, which is your coolant.
The coolant saver very much so is.
That's your main one.
But the oil saver is going. We're globally now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Flying off the shelves.
We're flying off the shelves. It's a great thing, and it's global. We are setting up more and more resellers. We hope to push on. And working with yourselves and and with them sort of products.
So I know when we were setting this all up, you mentioned something about this AB box that you've been working on.
Yep.
And you're an innovative company.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I think I call ourselves like a design house company rather than, we outlet the product as well, of course, but we are always working on new products. We're not a big company, as you know, but we've got a great design team in Denmark, and we've just developed our new AB box. We call it a smart box.
Right.
So what it allows you to do is run 2 vacuums off 1 unit. So 1 coolant saver or 1 oil saver, you could run 2 vacuums. So what we've done is we've built a timer box, and it's totally our own design, our own product, our own housing. But what it allows you to do is we can plumb in to the existing coolant saver, a new one, and it goes into the back port, and then we have an A and a B port that you can run 1 vacuum cup going into your swarf bin, another one that could be run up into an automation zone, or it could be run into a magazine tool, or we've got twin conveyors. So it's slightly more unique areas, but again, we've seen people taking them out because they're so good, taking them out of the swarf bin and putting them in these other areas, and then they're not doing the job they should be doing.
So is this catering towards like an automated cell sort of thing?
I think more
it's all
so.
the same component coming off with the same coolant.
Yeah, exactly.
Going back
I mean,
into the same
you see some big areas like automotive, whereas where engine heads are being picked up from conveyors, and that coolant in a cell will be the same. So a cell of 4 or 5, so that same coolant can go back into the machine. But that's areas where you can see there being, we're quite excited about, and just launched it. Really have, the stock is just literally coming in, so it's we're super excited about that as well.
So just before I wrap it up,
I
know that you're also working on a bit of a project in the background. I don't know if you want to just.
We're developing a system to disinfect coolant. On a system that can sit by the machine. It can be mobile over a number of machines, but as we know, coolant is a critical part in the whole machining process circle, and and it more so with the cost of it, and more so that we're not allowed to see so many chemicals and biocides and stuff being shoved in it, because it's just not going to happen now. The HSC won't allow it. They're harmful for breathing and other long-term illnesses. So keeping coolant clean is going to be a thing for the future.
Definitely.
And it's something that we're working with this product. We've got some patented technology out there. It's a bit of UV, which people have talked about before, but we've got a system that we hope's got round some of the areas that it wasn't working on.
Let's leave it at there. I'm keen to get one of them in the centre, and we can bring you back to talk about that. It sounds
I look
amazing.
forward to that.
Jason, thanks for coming on the podcast. It's been great having you here. It's been great talking to you all day as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
So thanks again.
Well, thanks, mate. It's great to be back, and thank you.
No problem.
Cheers, Dan.